So full energy, run red right here cause they're my enemies. Subscribe and like, rate and review. Your whole times a lady, couple gets two. We got them with a trophy, we're overdue. Can we do the double, make it deja vu? It's a North London thing, Bird Brothers only on the wing. Harry's one of our own island. He's only got one knee, but Leslie's still the king. And we got Delhi Ali, that's top in. Where the shell side, where the shell side, where the shell side's what we sing. Where the shell side, where the shell side. No, it's a North London thing.
Yo, 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 yo! It's the Shelfside Podcast, episode 88, and Kwab'na is back in the building. How you doing, Kwab'na?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm happy to be back in home comforts, man. I am.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that you letting people know you travelled, home comfort thing?
Well, I mean, you guys were making a lot of comments while I was gone. While the cat's away, the mice will play. So people were dropping all kinds of wild statements while I was gone. I was listening from wherever I was in the world. And I was thinking to myself, wow, these guys who you consider friends, the slanderous nature of the comments that they were letting out, disgusting, unacceptable, disgusting behaviour, man.
Okay, Pied Piper, not letting us know. Can I ask you a question? Did you increase your percentage travelled of the world?
Ever so slightly. I did.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. What is a wasted trip then?
No, it wasn't a wasted trip. No. It was good to get out of the country, for sure. But then, you know, the world's changed so much. Like, your experience of these things are completely different. Which is, you know, whatever. But the change of scenery is absolutely necessary sometimes, man. You just need to break it up sometimes.
I'll make you right there. Let's shout to Carl and to Lero for covering you. Lero said he wants to get paid. Great episode last week.
It was a great episode.
Energy.
It was a great episode. Good energy. I liked a lot of what Carl had to say about the letter of the law versus the spirit of the law. I was talking to a friend actually today about that whole Arsenal thing, and he was like, "Why are people getting mad at Arsenal? They would do the same thing." And I was telling him, like, when Rooney thus passed the guy whose name we won't mention, to end Arsenal's like 49 game home run or whatever, like, people said that he dived, but ultimately he put the referee in a position where he had to make a decision, and people hated Rooney for and all you Arsenal fans hated Rooney for that. You shouldn't get angry at Rooney. You should get angry at the ref, surely, by this logic. So the same way you guys went and requested that this game be postponed because you had one COVID case, and you put the Premier League into a position to make a decision, and they made the wrong one, in my opinion. And that's why you guys are getting the hate. And my guy was going on so confused. I was like, no. This is how it works. You didn't like when Rooney did it to you? We don't like when you're doing this stuff now. Because, you know, if you played that derby at that time, you would have got banged. All this talk about he wanted to see the best players on the show. I said, I don't give a damn who you bring to the table, bro. I just want you guys to get banged. I don't care. Really don't care. I don't care.
Push us on.
That's it. I just want to see you guys get banged and keep it moving. I don't care if you have your best players or your worst players, mate. I don't care. Anyone can get it.
Lero's point was valid because there was strong rumours, that the company that they got the false positive tests from was Kenny Dalglish's daughter's, was the chairman or chairwoman of that company. So Biolabs, or whatever they're called, sounds like an inside job, so I can understand why Arsenal then took the stance they did. And like you say, it's not on them, it's on the powers that be for allowing them to postpone with COVID case, just one COVID case.
100%. But at the end of the day, F them, man. Hate the scumbags. Scumbag club, man. No morals.
Yeah,
disgusting.
Gone on too much about them.
Disgusting.
Anyway,
but so today we played another of our rivals, and I mean, I said before the game that I thought that we would lose 2-0. And the reason I thought that we'd lose 2-0 is not because I had inside knowledge, or even because of the team selection that we put out. I actually thought we're going to lose 2-0 purely because of the fact that the last time Chelsea were on a Last time Conte was on a long unbeaten run, we ended it 2-0 at White Hart Lane, right? Dele scored 2 goals. Ericsson assisted both with amazing passes. Now Conte was on another unbeaten run and the reverse was happening and we were going to their ground. So it only made sense that Chelsea would beat us 2-0. Like, sometimes history is just funny like that. And that's the only reason I had for believing it was going to be 2-0. It's the only reason I was adamant it's going to be 2-0. And when the team sheet came out, I was like, what's going on here? I'm very confused. As to what's going on here. I was like, is this a 4-4-2? Like, is this like a 3-4-3? Like, how's this working? And the longer I looked at it, the less it made sense, right? But I'm like, like a lot of Tottenham fans are right now, it's kind of like, look, let Conte do what he does. Like, you just got to trust him, But there's no denying, for me anyway, that whole thing looks wild to me. I was just like, this is crazy. What did you feel like when you saw that lineup go up?
So there were strong rumours before the lineup actually came out that Lucas Moura, Reguilon and Skip wouldn't start. They didn't say why, but they were hinting that they were unwell and they wouldn't feature or picked up knocks. So it was known that they wouldn't start. It was also known that Dele Alli wasn't in the squad. So it made you think who would actually play. And then when I saw the starting lineup and all 3 weren't in the starting lineup, it meant the rumour was correct, but 2 were on the bench. All 3 were actually on the bench. So it made you feel like, yes, that rumour was true. But then you see the lineup and you look at it and you think, I've got Sessegnon, I've got Ben Davies, I've got 3 centre-halves, and I've got Matt Doherty. Then good old Alistair Gold said he thinks it's going to be a 4-4-2. So that meant it was going to be a 4-4-2 because he's obviously got the inside tip. And when I looked at the 4-4-2, I was like, okay, we're playing a centre-half at right-back, who's neither really a centre-back nor a right-back, but he'll play there. And we're playing a right wing-back at right midfield. And we're playing somebody who's not really cemented a position in Sessegnon in left midfield ahead of Ben Davies. And it was Ben Davies that worried me the most at left-back, if I'm honest.
All right.
Because I think Ben has been solid enough as the left-sided centre-half in a 3. And I think that's his best position now. And if you recall, a lot of the stuff we've spoken about with Ben Davies over the years is the fact that when he plays left fullback, he doesn't win his individual battles and he's not great going forward from that position. And I think he's been a revelation as a left-sided centre-half because he can move forward into the spaces as that overlapping centre-back, and he's very rarely tracked, and he doesn't really have a direct competition in that role. So when he plays left back, there's always someone there and he's always going to be attacked, and then he's always going to try and come out, and he just doesn't have the pace to do so when he's tracked. So that worried me. Sessegnon kind of worried me as well. Doherty always worries me. And I just looked at it and I thought, mate, where's the creativity coming from? Like,
so just a question we're constantly asking ourselves. And there's been theories about this, right? That in actual fact, the system that we play is where the creativity comes from rather than the individual. And it got me thinking about how you have a system versus the individuals you put in the systems and where the importance lies. And some of the greatest teams we've seen have had great systems, great ways of playing. The Barca team that dominated from like 2006 to like 2012, right? Went through many different iterations. You had Rijkaard's version, you had Pep's version, you had Luis Enrique's version, right? But there was it was very fast-paced, possession-based, high-pressing football, right? That was a system that they played. But in each one of the iterations, there was a maverick who could just do things that no one else could do. Ronaldinho, Messi, /Iniesta, then Messi with Neymar, Suarez, like you have that, right? And
Xavi.
The same thing you have with Bayern Munich, right? So you have a very strict system where there's great possession, move the ball quickly, high press, etc. But then you have people who do things a bit off the cuff, like a Leroy Sané, right? You have those people. Like with us, we can have the system and the creativity can come from the system, and I've got no problem with that. But when the system somehow isn't working because it's been stifled by an opposition or an equally tactically astute manager, what do we do then? Do we just continue trying to hope that the system works? It's fine when you look at games like Leicester, when you have the euphoria and people like the way the creativity we played with, right, created so many chances, which meant that even in the 90x whatever minutes, it was actually great creative play that led to that, right? The cross ball from
Højbjerg.
all the way to Doherty in the first time, right? And he makes a bit of a hash of it, really. But like him just even getting to the area and causing a bit of chaos creates something out of nothing. And then the ball, the interception from Højbjerg into Kane, and those 2 touches, and then to curl the ball in that way that he did, you know, was great creativity in that time. But we created a lot of chances to do that, and we were still down 2-1. Do you see what I mean? So for me, like, we do ask ourselves, whenever these team sheets go out, where's the creativity going to come from? And we just need to keep on trusting that it's going to be the formation, the system. I just don't know how long we can get away with that.
So you make good points. There's so many points I was ticking off there that I wanted to touch on as you were going, but I didn't want to stop you. You've got the Leicester. I think Leicester's a good place to start, right? Because we created countless chances. Kane had 10 shots. I know some of those were some wild ones, but 10 shots, 3 on target, 1 goal. Not the greatest return for a striker of his quality, but that's 10 chances. And we've been talking about, well, people saying Kane's not getting chances, which I disagree with because I think he's had chances and missed a lot this season. But in that game, I saw an image, a meme, when the team sheet went out. It was of a meal deal, it was of a bottle of water, a ham sandwich, and a ready salted crisp. And that was likened to the team sheet. And I think that was probably Højbjerg, Skip, and Winks, basically saying basic standard as you could get.
Yeah.
Like basic meal deal, basic midfield. Bit harsh because Winks created a goal. Højbjerg had key pass, and even Skip had a key pass for the Højbjerg cleared off the line. Right, so all 3 created big moments. Admittedly, it was against a side that were depleted. It was against a side that's been this season pretty much a mid-table side. Right, I still think there's a good team in there, but they're a mid-table side this season. Right. Mm-hmm. And depleted. So let's not get carried away with that euphoric win. Take the euphoric win. Great cameo from Bergwijn. But at the end of the day, we only beat a mid-table Leicester side, right? This was always the problem. When we come up against a side who actually do what we're trying to do better than us, who have winners, who have experienced players, who have that little bit more quality and more squad depth, we come unstuck. And why I say they're trying to do it better than us, what they do better than us is they occupy the space, right? So this is not new. Jose did this, Nuno did this. Occupy the space, areas, risk areas, have players in position, and you don't concede too many because you're occupying spaces. And then you let your kind of more creative players do what they do. But in the side, we're having less and less creative players. In the middle of the park, we have very limited creative players. And what that means is when we come up against a side that does that better than us, that restricts the space better than us, that can actually do a high press that we don't do well, that can also retain the ball, which we struggle to do against the better sides, we look lost. And this is where we're occupying good space, but the minute we turn the ball over and we're trying to advance and we turn the ball over, we then look vulnerable, right? And we don't have the greatest defenders in the world. We don't. And you saw that with the first goal today, because Tanganga's got himself in a situation where now Tanganga can't challenge Hudson-Odoi. It wasn't a yellow card for me, but I think he probably got that for accumulation. And we know he's a front foot defender, likes to tackle.
Yeah, relishes those one-on-one battles for sure.
Yeah, so does Rudiger. But Rudiger's better, got more guile as well. Rudiger will foul you and the referee will give a free kick to Chelsea because he's got that know-how to make it look like you fouled him, right? Great one-on-one defender. But Tanganga's young. But then you saw Sessegnon get caught with 2 against him, not knowing what to do, doesn't close down Ziyech, puts it top in. That's that quality, right? So you come unstuck against the very best side. The system, go back to the system you're talking about. It will work if you've got the right personnel. However, we went away from the system today. We went to the 4-4-2 today.
We did.
And we went to the 4-4-2 because Dele's out the door, going to be out the door. Dombele's going to be out the door. And fuck knows what happened to Lo Celso. He must be in South America already because he only played the other day and he was not even in the match squad today.
Yeah,
unless he's the COVID case.
That was a bit mad. I mean, I don't want people to think that we're discounting the joy that the Leicester win brought. Right, we didn't do a pod after the Leicester game. I guess for us, we just couldn't get our ducks in a row. It's not a thing where we're like, it wasn't important. But also, it's like, it's one of those things where the euphoria, and sometimes you just got to enjoy that part of it, right? Enjoy the euphoria.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Enjoy the madness that's coming from it. And like, everyone would have just come on the pod and was speaking in complete superlatives. Because at the end of the day, we do care about winning and stuff, because all people who follow sports do, but it's like football's about those moments, right? They're about the moments that make you feel things that you don't feel at other times. That rush of blood, that euphoria, that being from being counted out to being on top, there's very few things that can top off a comeback win, especially that late in the day, right? So I don't want to say that wasn't important, but the points you've made about the quality in the positions that we were in are absolutely essential. And I look at it and I think to myself, today, I never thought that we'd win the game. He was right to change his approach. He's played Chelsea enough times now to say, this is not how I'm going to go against them. I'm going to do something different. Because if he had done the same old thing and we'd been turned over in the same way, we'd all been saying, where's this master tactician? Where's he? Today he tried something. It didn't work, but he tried it, right? He didn't try it. It didn't work. He alluded to the need for new personnel, for people to come in, to give us new options, etc. There is a gap, clearly, between us and Chelsea. We've played them 4 times now. It's what's it been like? 3-0?
10-0 on aggregate.
Okay, cool. So, obviously been having a real shellacking, right? But, how big is the gap between us and the top 4? Because I look at it, and the most likely team for us to catch in that top 4, to me, is Man United. Right? And whilst people complain about Man United's squad, I fully believe that Man United are one good manager away from being a top 3 contender. Because that squad isn't trash. They needed.
Bro, did you see the bench on Saturday?
They needed a goal the other day, and they brought on Martial, who, for all his struggles, we had the opportunity to sign him. I really wanted him. Right? I really wanted him. He didn't come. He went to United. If even now, would I take Martial? I'll take him. Under Conte, I'll definitely take Martial now. They brought Martial off the bench. They brought Kwab'na off the bench, who has been one of the greatest goal scorers of his generation, and Marcus Rashford. They brought them off the bench to get a goal. I look at our bench. I'm like, who's gonna do that? He's gonna do that. It's just not the same, right? It's just not the same. So
nowhere near the same.
For me,
can I just back up that point? Yeah, go. Sorry, can I just back up that point? Martial, Henderson, Matic, Rashford, Cavani, Lingard, Jones, Mata, Van der Beek was their bench.
All players who have won stuff, they performed at high levels. They, you know what I mean? Like you look at our bench, and it's tough. It's tough. Look, we don't have the cachet of a Man United. We don't. It's a fact. We don't. But at the same time, we don't even have burgeoning talent who we believe might be at that level one day. Like we've seen enough of like Brian Hill to see like our excitement around him is tempered. I'm not saying he's not good enough, man. It's way too early to call that. But I'm just saying right now, when I put him on the pitch, am I expecting to go and do bits against Chelsea? I'm just not. No. I'm just not. And I'm not Conte, cool. But I'm just not. I don't have that vibe from him. So to me, the gap between us and top 4 right now can be closed. But Man United get a top manager, and that gap is going to get wide very quickly. Very quickly.
Yeah, I'm in 100% agreement with you. You summarised it very well. They're a top manager away from being out of sight for us, and out of sight into that top three. The league has actually been very poor this year. I touched on this a couple of weeks ago. Chelsea went off like the clappers with City and Liverpool, and they were so far ahead. Chelsea have hit the stumbling blocks, which is another reason so disappointing today and over the last few weeks, because they've actually been in a bad run of form, and we in every game haven't done what other sides have been able to do, at least hold them to a draw, not even score against them. Sorry, I said the aggregate was 10-0. I think it's 9-0.
It was 8. Is it 8? I think it's 8.
Well, 2-0, 1-0, 3-0, 3-0, right?
Yeah.
So I think you're 100% right there. United's squad is ridiculous, and it's probably better than. Is it better than Liverpool? Better than Liverpool's, but probably not better than City's and Chelsea's. But regardless, how close are we? They don't have a top manager. They have Rangnick, who has been a great sporting director, and hasn't managed in a long time, and he hasn't set the world alight there. They've not really looked good. So I think we are close to the top four because United aren't the United they can be. Whether they can get it together under Rangnick, I don't know. But I think they have about as much chance as probably we do under Conte, even though they've got a better squad. I think West Ham are probably going to slide. That side down the road, that side down the road, I think they may not be there at the end of the season, not as close, but they're still a threat. And I think Villa have got Gerrard in too late. Everybody else I'm not worried about. So I think it's between us, United and Arsenal. And I think, though, this is what I think. I think under Conte, we have proven that we can win the games that we should be winning as a whole.
Which I think is actually a bigger point than most people realise. But continue.
Yeah, and today, in a way, I've heard critics say that today was a free swing, especially after winning the Leicester game in the way that we did.
That's how I feel. That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah. So if that be true, and we can get some points off of the top three and win the other games and say maybe draw against United, we're still in a position now whereby winning our games in hand would take us above Chelsea, surprisingly. But that's probably too much of an ask. But it means we're still in a good position. And at this moment in time, it's in our own hands. At this very moment in time. So top four is achievable. But I tell you what would help. Some investment would bloody help.
Some investment would be great, man. It would be great. And I've been thinking about this. And look, as we know, in typical Tottenham fashion, the window is closing. We haven't done anything. We'll get linked with Mbappe at 5 minutes to 12, and they'll tell us that we couldn't get it over the line because he wanted to have his number 7, but we refused to take it off Son. I mean, that's basically what's going to happen. But I want to pose this question to you, right? You have 30 mil, and your player will definitely say yes, but you have to remember you can only get him for 30 mil. One transfer target. Who are you going for?
Yeah, that's just like you just throw these curveballs at me, Kwab'na.
That's what I'm here for.
30 mil. Yeah, I've not even checked the transfer market. Yeah, okay. Let's work this backwards. The need. I'm just going to throw some names out as I work through this, right? So Bruno Gomes was a sensible transfer as recommended by Tifo. His price tag isn't around 30 million. Love to have him, but is he part of the immediate need as a defensive midfielder, ball playing one? Possibly, but we were talking about creativity more so. So I'm going to have to think about an attacking midfielder, I think, or somebody who can play up top. Someone who would definitely come for under 30 million. Is this euros or pounds?
Let's say £30 million. Let's say £30 million.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give you up to 35 euros. 35 million euros.
All right. So I believe we could get Dybala for 30
What?
million.
Why?
He's in the last year of his contract. However, the total package with image rights may be a bit more. But if we're talking about cash transfer,
Been here before,
I believe
mate.
he would play for Conte. However, he wasn't the person I would go for.
Oh, really? Okay.
I mean, I would go for him.
That's a good shot. I didn't think about it, but that's a good shot.
It's if the deal could be done, and I don't know what your parameters are for the deal. Somebody who could change the dynamic. Someone who could allow Kane to play 9. Someone who could probably drop into a deeper role. Someone who could probably play from the right as well. Someone who you would expect to get between 5 and 10 goals between now and the end of the season. And if we're talking about goal involvements, probably 15. I would definitely go with Dybala if that deal could be done for 30 million. If it couldn't, somebody who probably doesn't have much resale value would be Insigne.
Okay.
Another Italian job. And obviously I'm shopping in the Italian market because of Paratici. I'm shopping in the Italian market because of Conte. These players are experienced. These players have guile. These players have know-how. These players have proven in structured sides, the structured national side, that they have the guile and the ability to help open up seasoned defenders and seasoned defences. So he can play from the left. I believe he can play from the right. He can play first striker and second striker. So it's between those two. Obviously, Dybala would be first choice. Insigne would be second. Yes,
Okay.
I'm sticking with
All
that.
right. I bet those are good suggestions, man. I can't lie to that. I think they're realistic, they're gettable. Yeah, I reckon that could happen.
So who you got? You posed the question. You must have a gem.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a gem, but I also have 2 options, and maybe it's my bias of my love for centre midfielders, right? But I feel like that's where currently we're expending a lot of energy, like with the Bergwijns and the Sons and the Lucases of the world, trying to make things happen in the final third, but also trying to be the ones who are on the end of it, right? Kane does his best work when he's not being forced to be the sole creator of the team, so I want to take that burden off his shoulders. I thought today Steven Bergwijn tried his hardest to make things happen. I respected his effort.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy, man, but he got shots off. He put himself about.
Could have scored. Probably should have scored.
Yeah, probably could have scored. He made himself available for the team in many instances. So I'm not that concerned with up top. I think that's a future thing. I feel like I can wait for summer. What I do think is lacking is this idea of waiting for the creativity to happen from midfield. So the two players that I've identified used to play together, and that's Van de Beek and Frankie de Jong.
Whoa. Are you smoking?
What do you mean? What's the problem here?
Do you think you can get Frankie de Jong for 30 million?
Frankie de Jong, Bayern Munich have been mooted to have put a 33 million bid because of Barcelona's troubles in for Frankie de Jong.
The financial. They do have financial issues. Yeah, that is true. But does Xavi want to? Frankie de Jong scored today.
He scored today, and I'm sure Xavi wants to build his whole team around him. Cool, but at the end of the day, you are in dire straits, and I'm not above raiding the.
I would love Frankie de Jong.
The Barca bargain bid, but yeah. So
can we book? We're gonna book this, right? We're gonna book this because I just want to see if Frankie de Jong gets sold and what he goes for. And if we don't get him, then there's a problem. There's a problem in that. That if he's available for around 30 million and we are not even in the race to get him,
but if you're available for 30 mil and you can go to Bayern Munich, we can go to Tottenham.
No, of course. But we've got to be in a bidding.
This is the problem. I mean, you're right. You want to see your side going for players like that. Of course you do. But yeah. And then the other person, Van de Beek, for me, he's an upgrade in every way on all the midfielders we have, and he makes things happen.
6 or 8, yeah, definitely. I know you're a fan of Van de Beek.
At his best, he makes things happen, and I just want to see a player see a pass that no one else can see and play it. That's it. Because sooner or later, the players around them are going to think to themselves, when this guy got the ball, get on the move because he'll find you. We've seen so many players like that. If you look at what João Martino is doing, right, at Wolves, right, at his age, fine. He's not dominating the whole league, and he's not doing it every single game. My guy's like 35. He's not going to be doing it then. He's not going to be doing every game at that level. But to be in the middle of the park and to dictate some of the Premier League games that he's doing is mad. That finish the other day was just a sublime finish of true quality. Of true quality.
You've been beating the João Martino drum for about 10 years, so that's fine. He's a baller.
If we had signed him when
Monaco.
Yeah, when what's his face? Villas-Boas wanted him.
AVB.
When Villas-Boas wanted him, if we had signed them, that would have been a revolutionary signing.
It would have. I make you right.
So I feel like we just need someone who's going to do those things, man. And like, even if you're going to fail, I want to see you tried it. And if right now some people will be saying, well, Winks can do that, but like Winks and Van der Beek, like Van der Beek at his peak, and there's no conversation. So
Winks has been improved.
He has been improved. However, but if he's your starter and he's who you're relying for creativity, you're not.
We're fucked.
You know what I mean? It's not right.
His creativity is a ball over the top, and he's got success in that he played in Son against Liverpool, and he should have got assist against Southampton, and then he did get assist against Leicester. But if you notice, they're all the same ball, that chip ball. That means there's space in behind. That means somebody in defence is not doing their job. They're not the type of passes you're talking about. You're talking about seeing it, side rule pass in between the lines, between two defenders on the floor, first time, getting somebody spinning behind. They're the passes you're talking about. Winks hasn't been proven to be able to play those. Van der Beek has. So I get your point right there.
Just not.
The only question is, would Man United sell to a direct rival?
But this is the thing, right? In this hypothetical, whoever you go for is definitely coming.
Oh, you don't tell me this stuff before.
No, I did. I told you. Whatever happens, they're definitely coming. But it's just that you can't spend more than 30 mil. So what I'm trying to say is that you can't go for like, you're not gonna go and sign like Mbappe because they're not gonna accept a 30 mil bid for him. Do you see what I mean? They're not going to be able to go and get Haaland because they're not going to accept 30 mil for him. That's the point.
So the club's selling. The club is selling.
The club is selling. The club is selling. You've got 30 mil is your thing. And I think even within that, the two options you provided were good ones.
Yeah.
They were good ones.
No, I just wanted to. I was just trying to beat you.
You're trying to do it. You can't do it.
Guys on Twitter, listen. If you've got any better options than myself and Kwab'na for 30 million. The club will sell. The selling club will sell. Doesn't worry about the contract. The value of the player has to be 30 million, and it has to be realistic. Who have you got? Let us know.
I know a couple of people who I think expect to come with some very interesting suggestions. So we'll see.
Indeed.
See. So I mean, just to round it off before we wrap up, on a scale of 1 to 5, how concerned are you about our immediate future? 1 being I'm chilling on the beach with a cocktail, listening to some soca vibes or whatever you want to listen to.
Shelf size, surely.
Or 5 being we're just about to enter a new global pandemic and we don't even know what this variant is, and we're going to probably be locked down for another like 5 years.
I'm going to give Lero's answer because he'll probably say 4.
Lero's on the Chicken Little vibe, innit? He's just like, the sky is falling. Everyone get out.
No, and the thing is, though, this is the thing. Like, I know you just asked me a direct question, but I'm with him because it's mad. It's mad because we could still get top 4, and with top 4 comes Champions League. With top 4 comes Conte. Like, it's not with beyond belief that we get top 4 this season. If we continue to do what I said, if we continue to beat the sides that we should be beating and compete against the sides somewhat that are above us, those other 3 sides, we will get top 4. However, do we just want to scrape into top 4? No. Do we want to go back to the area where we'll get fined for speaking about, or if we mention the name, the P word? No, we don't want to do that. We would like to be competitive and have a side that can challenge all of those teams. But that's not where we are. So if we can scrape into top 4, that would be good. However, we are an injury away from that being derailed. We've lost Son, We haven't had Romero for a couple of months. We've survived. Kane is finding good form in terms of playmaking, not so much finishing. If he got injured or somebody else got injured, a Lloris, where would that leave us?
There's chocolate legs, bro. They'll be gone.
Yeah. So we do need reinforcements. If we get through this window and we only add one, a Traore, who I think actually will be revolutionary.
Wow.
I honestly do. And just think about the way we play. You touched on systems earlier. I didn't quite finish. If you think about systems, just think how many times you've seen Royale in an advanced position, receiving the ball and doing bugger all with it. Just think about all those times Royale is in your position's final third and fucking up the cross or not being able to beat his man.
But
put Traore.
How different is that to Traore? Someone who's
do you know what?
Got no end products really at the moment of his game. Like
that's
the
fine.
best we can hope for is for him to cause chaos.
But that's the point. You give Traore 10 crosses and you give Royale 10 crosses. They'll probably both hit the same number of crosses, 50% success rate. However, I don't expect Traore to cross the ball as much as Royale's crossing the ball. If you put Traore in that position in the final third against a defender, in fact, his crossing will probably be better. And I'll tell you for why. That defender will not be up his backside. That defender will probably give him 3 or 4 yards head start. Should I tell you for why? Traore will skin him in an instant and get goal side of him. So the defender will be shit scared. He will give him space, and Traore will actually have a better success rate of crossing because he won't have a man directly in front of him. And only Becks and those type of players can actually whip the ball round him like that. Right? Defenders like that. So what Traore would do in those advanced positions that Doherty, Reguilon, Royale have been in is able to skip past this man, cause chaos, get inside the box. Once he's inside the box, you going to touch him? Nope. And he will be doing Aaron Lennon style, getting to the byline, dinking it to the far post, blasting across the box. We'll have one near, one far, and we'll score on goals. We'll score headers. We'll score tap-ins. That is what Traore will give us because he doesn't need to touch the ball until the final third.
I really hope you're right, man, because it looks like he's the only striker. He's the only signing we're going to make. So
Victor Moses, Ashley Young. Yeah, I can see it being a revelation, but that's my wish. But how worried am I? I'm gonna say, because the transfer window's not open, I'm gonna say 3. I don't have a cocktail. I'm not even booked a holiday yet, but the sky isn't falling yet. The sky could fall.
So you think you're what number? Sorry, a 3.
3. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
The sky could certainly fall. What are you?
I'm a 2. I'm a 2 purely because we don't currently have people pulling away from us that much. I still feel like Conte might be the most glorious caretaker manager we've ever had in our illustrious history, but I feel like
more so than Sherwood.
I feel like the rebuild that we've been talking about for ages is like really painful and slow, and I don't think we're that far away from just like blowing up and going again. So I think we just get the most that we can and get out of Conte and see what happens. I'm quite relaxed about that. I still feel very transition like where we are right now.
But on that point, right? On that point, where we are closer to blowing up than we are to the rebuild.
Yeah. Which
is weird. That is worrying, right?
Yeah.
Because Conte isn't necessarily going to last another 12 months. We don't know. Well, his 18 months. Kane, Son are the wrong side of 28, and so is Mora. So these are factors that do worry me. But I do have a little confidence in the fact that this league is poor and we're in a position to strike, and we just need those guys to spend a little bit. Yeah. I've got another name.
Oh.
Somebody I was actually thinking about as well.
Who's this?
Premier League ready.
Who are you talking
I
about?
don't know if 30 million will do the deal, though. I don't know his contract's
I'll
looking.
be sure to tell you, mate. Just let me
James
know.
Ward-Prowse.
What? Really?
James, we need a set piece taker. Have you seen us?
No. We do need a set piece taker. But Ward-Prowse, would he, like, apart from his set pieces, like, he's gonna do anything else?
Good passing range.
He has got a good passing range, but is he? I don't think he's inventive enough with his passing. That's my concern. He's not inventive. He's not inventive passing.
Kane, Son, running, Angles, Bergwijn, Lucas. The reason I say him is Premier League ready. There's no question.
But also, he's the man. He's the man at
he is the man. Everything goes through him.
So when you take someone out of that situation and you put them into a big, like, how do they transition? How do they deal with that? That's also another thing to consider.
And when you think about Ward-Prowse and Højbjerg were the midfield two for Southampton, they didn't really set the world alight either.
They didn't.
So, but I do like a free kick. Our free kicks are terrible. Our corners are terrible.
Yeah. I mean, we had one of the most dreadful corners today against Chelsea. It was flipping disgusting.
Winks. It's not just Lo Celso that can't beat the first man. And Harry Kane continues to hit the wall with his free kicks, and I'm going to leave it on that note.
Yeah, don't do it. All right, guys, we're gonna leave it there. If you are listening on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, please leave a 5-star review because we only give you 5-star content. You know it makes sense. Give someone a gift of the pod. Share, guys. Let's grow this family. Thank you very much for listening. It's always a pleasure to know you guys are on the other side. So big up yourselves. You can also follow us on ShellPod on Twitter. We always love the engagement, love to hear from you guys. Tell us what you like, what you don't. We're all about that stuff, man. So as long as you're positive, kids, keep the conversation flowing. But that's it from me.
Don't forget the YouTube, guys. YouTube. And it's good night from me.
Guys, the unbeaten record has come to an end in all competitions. No, we're still unbeaten in the FA Cup, guys, so smile.
That's a beg, that's a reach.
Because the sun always shines on the Shell side. Lero, stop crying, man. Just run the outro.
When the Shell side, when the Shell side, when the Shell side, Tottenham. When the Shell side, when the Shell side, when the Shell side, Tottenham.